As you have heard previously, IP addresses can be associated to a geographical location. This video will introduce the prerequisites for further studies into national webs by introducing proxies, virtual private networks, which are also known as VPN, and HTTP status codes. Proxies and VPN services both function as intermediaries between your computer and the internet. Any traffic routed through a proxy or VPN server will appear to come from their IP address and not your computer's IP address. If you connect to a proxy or VPN in another country, you can thus surf and study the web as if you were in that country. Although proxies and VPN services both reroute your internet traffic and present another IP to the sites you visit, they function slightly differently. There are hundreds of thousands of free and publicly accessible proxy servers. They are frequently used to increase a user's anonymity and to bypass restrictions on geographical location or even to bypass censorship. However, it is often very hard to find out who owns the server. They may be run by libraries, universities and activists, but can also have been made available accidentally because of a misconfiguration by the server's administrator or because of infection of a computer by malware. Open proxies, furthermore, tend to be highly unstable, going on and offline without notice, and vary hugely in the speed they offer. The FLOSS manual on bypassing internet censorship notes that if you are trying to circumvent censorship, that you have to trust the owners of these anonymous servers, which often contain sensitive information. In contrast, if you try to test for censorship, you want to avoid requesting content which may put the operators in harm's way. Virtual private networks, on the other hand, are paid services which create an encrypted tunnel between your computer and the VPN server. They also act as intermediaries between your computer and other websites, but encrypt and route all internet traffic through the VPN server. While HTTP proxies cannot display certain web pages that use non-browser technology, such as video streaming websites, VPN services will allow you to access any type of internet traffic. Furthermore, as the traffic is encrypted, your ISP or government can only see that you have connected to the VPN server and nothing else. Your activities, the websites which you have visited, etc., are all hidden behind encryption. As VPNs are dedicated paid-for services, it is easier to find out who is operating it and to what ends. For example, many of them will not retain logs so as not to be forced to disclose information about their users, and they will provide you with terms of service telling what you are allowed to do via their server and what not. After this short and incomplete introduction to proxies and VPNs, let us take a look at how we can use them for national web studies. We'll turn around to more regular use of proxies and VPNs, such as bypassing access restrictions and circumventing censorship, and use them to study, for example, the extent to which URLs are blocked or particular content is restricted. So I have opened my research browser and preloaded two URLs to show you. I opened the research browser so that I am not logged into any services and so that websites which I'll visit cannot localize me except for my IP address. And you can see that YouTube here has found out that my IP address is in the Netherlands. And I opened this video by Shakira, and it's the official 2010 FIFA World Cup song. And you can see that it just plays fine, that there is nothing weird going on here. The other URL I have preloaded is by the German far-right group Besseres Hanover, and also from the Netherlands. It loads fine. Now, if I go to my VPN service, and I'm using Astral VPN here, which offers a huge list of countries I can connect to, and if I connect to the German or one of my German VPN servers and reload the page, you will see something strange. You can see that YouTube restricts access to this content in Germany. So YouTube has found out that we are in Germany and says that they cannot show this video because of disagreements with the copyright organization in Germany. Similarly, the Twitter account from the Netherlands was fine to access, whilst if I reload this with a German IP, I can see that it has been withheld in Germany. So I've disconnected from the German IP, and I will open another URL, which is soundcloud.com. It's an online service where you can upload music, but this time instead of connecting from Germany, I will connect to it from Turkey. If I reload the page once my VPN is connected, it will tell me that it's unable to connect. And this is funny, as when I just enter another URL, it just works. So again, if I go to soundcloud.com, I get a message that the connection was reset. In order to use proxies to connect to different countries, we'll make use of a small Firefox add-on called Foxy Proxy. So if in Firefox you go to Tools and click Add-ons, you can search for Foxy Proxy, install Foxy Proxy Basic, and once it's installed, restart Firefox. So you'll see the icon of Foxy Proxy, and clicking it allows you to add new proxies. So I've already prepared some proxies. One of them is this one at the Sharif University of Technology in Khuzestan. So if I click Add New Proxy in Foxy Proxy, enter the IP address here and the port number here. By right-clicking the Foxy Proxy icon, I can tell Firefox to use this proxy for all URLs. So let me test out the proxy by going to nu.nl. Both for VPNs and proxies, it's always wise to test out how good the proxy or VPN works by using a control URL to see whether the proxy returns any results and whether those results are what you expected. So in this case, everything seems to load fine. Yes, there it is. Although the proxy is quite slow, but it'll do for our job. So instead of nu.nl, I'm now going to try another URL, namely youtube.com. And you can already see something weird going on. The title doesn't look like youtube.com, and the address over here also doesn't look like the IP address of youtube.com. So let's wait and see what we are offered with by the Iranian proxy. So the Iranian proxy has forwarded our address via the Iranian internet or our request to YouTube via the Iranian internet, and offered us with this page, which is actually a block page indicating to us that we are not allowed to access this site via Iran. And after the counter at the bottom here stopped, it redirects us to even another site. So what you saw here was an instance of what is described in the literature as transparent blocking. So you are blocked and you are given a block page indicating that you are blocked. And this is in contrast to the example we saw earlier about Turkey, where I accessed SoundCloud via my VPN, and the connection was reset. There was just no indication that we were consciously blocked. It just looked like a browser error. Right, let me stop loading whatever they're presenting me here. Let me disconnect from the Iranian proxy and see whether youtube.com is still online. Yes, fortunately it is. Now let us try another example, one on a Chinese proxy, which is based in Beijing. Again, I right-click Foxy Proxy, click Options, and add a new proxy. I add the IP address in the first bit and the port number in the second bit. And I select the right proxy, the Beijing proxy, and I'll test whether it works by going to nu.nl, which is my control URL. And yes, also nu.nl seems to be accessible through the Chinese proxy. Nu.nl is not censored in any way. So let's see whether what happens when we go, for example, to www.bbc.co.uk through the Chinese proxy. So it seems that we're indeed allowed to go to bbc.co.uk through this proxy at a specific moment in time. So let us wait to see whether this is the actual case. So yes, it seems that we are able to access bbc.co.uk through this proxy. Now let me try another URL, which is the URL to the Chinese version of bbc.co.uk. Somehow my connection is reset, so somehow I'm blocked of accessing this site. Now let us go again to nu.nl to show a peculiarity of the Chinese way of censoring. So nu.nl also has my connection reset. So whilst in the Turkish case the connection to soundcloud.com was just dropped, I could still access other websites. In the Chinese case, whenever you encounter or whenever you are blocked, they'll actually block subsequent requests from the IP to other URLs which previously weren't blocked. So typically this lasts for a few minutes. So let me try this again a few times. No, I'm still not allowed to visit it. But this is definitely something you'll have to keep in mind when testing for censorship in China. They have a very advanced system of censorship, so not only URL dropping, but also content injection, and packet inspection, and keyword filtering, etc. And whenever you access a web page which they don't want you to see, they'll drop the connection and they'll drop any subsequent requests to it. So this is very important to keep in mind when testing for Chinese censorship more structurally. Whenever you hit a block, all other site or all other requests for URLs will also blocked for a while. So now nu.nl through my Chinese proxy is still available. But if I go to the Chinese version of BBC website, you'll see that the connection is reset again. And if I try to access nu.nl, that too is reset. So this is a peculiar case of blocking. It's not transparent, and they'll also block subsequent requests for a while.